Hello everybody, how are you going? Welcome to what $1 million gets you in Canada, or at least me just looking at what $1 million can get you in Canada is for all intensive purposes, Australian dollars and Canadian dollars are roughly the same, and so I want to know what in what areas gets you what. So starting out, if we enter an address, neighborhood, city or zip code, I don't know many of them, but let's just go Toronto straight off the bat. For sale, yes, thank you very much. I will take that and see if I can put a price of maximum of $1 million. What does it get you? It's obviously $1 million. It's a pretty high number, but it's a very generic number in a lot of people's minds now for, well, kind of a minimum standard if you want something semi-livable in these kind of areas from what I've been told. And so I'm seeing a lot in this, I guess it's, what would it be, metropolitan area? If I just start clicking around though, what does it, oh, 449. Wow, okay then. Well, if I would just go minimum 750, let's just get rid of the low ones and see what can you get. Wow. Okay then, this one straight off the get-go has caught my eye, and see all 40 photos. Wow, that real estate agents do not hold back, but it's a lot of timber from what I'm seeing for 850,000 Canadian, 6 beds, 3 baths though. That's, I would say, not too bad. Where exactly is it? Like, I want to know how far out. Oh, wow. I feel like that's actually not that far. I don't believe I'll be able to measure, but that doesn't seem very far at all. How far is this place from, well, only 5 or let's say 6K from the CN Tower, and you're getting it for $850. I mean, let's just look at some of these photos and see what you're really getting for your money, so to say. But it just doesn't look like it was that crazy. I mean, maybe it's small for some people, depending on where you're looking. And, ooh, very lovely. Nice blues, but it all looks relatively clean, relatively livable. It's not like the other one that sold for, what was it, 1.8 million in Sydney, I guess within the last year, and it didn't look anywhat livable. Like, the actual real estate agent has to put a notice and get people to sign waivers for people to even tour it. So to be seeing this, and it even has a marked exit sign just so you don't get lost, this looks relatively comparable to the place I was just talking about in Sydney, but actually livable. And what is it, 3 stories, maybe 4 stories with a basement, full attic conversion, everything. I mean, like I said, there is 40 photos here, and so we can go flying around. They loved their blue, but I would see not too many reasons why this wouldn't be the price it is. I don't know what the legislation is around pricing, and just, can some people just inflate the price because they want to? Is there any kind of laws where you have to provide a framework for what the pricing is truly going to be, or anything like that? I do not know. But as the starting off, 850,000, I expected worse, to be honest. I expected for 850,000, now knowing it's 6Ks from the CBD of Toronto, this is not what I was expecting. This looks quite large, being, what was it, a 6 beds, 3 baths. Wow. Well then, what else do we have though? That was just there. And if I come out just a little bit further, let's see. Oh, okay, another 850,000, but only 3 beds, 3 baths. And now I don't know how they were getting 6 beds from the last one, but it's clearly not the same. And this looks so non-Australian. Like, you could never find these suburban homes on not terrace style blocks, but just the height of them. You would never ever see them like this. And of course, the autumn, if you want to be calling it Australian wise, all the falling of the colorful leaves everywhere, just lining these streets. But even the fact you were so close to the ocean. Wow. I mean, I know where I selected, but I didn't expect it to be that close. That's pretty crazy for these kind of prices. I'm just very, very surprised about what I'm seeing. I mean, like I said, I know that $1 million is not a small amount of money by any stretch of the imagination, but I didn't expect this. I mean, okay, there's not much backyard, and you certainly couldn't consider it to be manicured by any means, but this is just surprising me. You know, there's no way that you could get anything remotely like this for 750, 850, even 950. Nothing like that would come close. I mean, I do just want to be seeing, what does $1 million on the dot get you? Oh, this is not a house. It is a condo. Is that what they said? Condo. Wow, that's not a word that I've ever seen before. Condominium. Either way, it looks like a new build, and it looks very, that's a hell of a wall or something like that, but it looks very clean, and that is at least what you would want from a brand new build. But for $1 million, I don't know. I feel like unless you really want the views, I'd be taking the other places for $850 over this $999 any day of the week. You could spend surely 150 and maybe not get it a brand new place, but certainly get rid of the blue that we saw before. I mean, okay, sure, that's a pretty decent view. Nice clouds looking all the way. Ooh, I don't know which way that would be, but I can only imagine that it's looking all the way onto the Toronto CBD. Maybe with a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom place, you are getting almost a whole floor, maybe a quarter of a floor to yourself. Either way, definitely, it looks, I mean, it's new, but it's still nothing crazy. I mean, is that the foyer maybe? I don't know what that is, because it's clearly got a car next to it, or a van, and so maybe that's the foyer. Not sure. But it doesn't seem like you're getting as much value and bang for your buck. Your $999 is not going nearly as far. And so if that's what you are comparing it to, that sounds more realistic. There's another $999 down here that I've just seen. Okay, the Lionsdale, another condominium. I can't believe that's even a word. It would be a unit, an apartment, maybe even a flat for some people, but definitely all of these buildings would be considered apartments. And so what do you get again for $999? You're only getting 1 bed, 1 bath, and no views of, I guess, all of Toronto, an older looking place. It did look much, much closer to the Toronto CBD, but look, for $999, this place, compared to the first place we looked at, yes, it was all blue, but there's even blue in this one, and you're paying $150,000 more for so far a lot less. I mean, there's 29 photos, so I won't give it up too early, but it's clearly been lived in. It's not a brand new build. It's got some random stained glassy windows in the middle there. I don't know what they're for. Maybe they're functional. I've never seen that before. Usually, I would only presume that would be a big old pane of glass, but maybe in Canada they just slot it for airflow or for, I don't know. Why would you do that? Still looking through though, there we go. Just all of these photos are showing that it's not a brand new build and it doesn't look like it's anything fancy. And so I don't understand here why it's $999. I mean, okay, there maybe is an attached gym and there's other facilities, parking, maybe underground and all those kind of things. And maybe it's in a highly sought after place, but still for $999 for 1 bed, 1 bath compared to, where was it? It was down here somewhere. It was like $850 just over here. Like, it's closer. I don't know why you would want one or the other. Maybe because it's near the ports. Is that why? I mean, there's a $999 over here near the ports, and it's a single family residence. The naming scheme's hilarious, but it's clearly a duplexy some sort. And I would say, okay, you don't have views because you're not 17 stories tall, but it looks pretty similar in age to the last one. And it's a whole house though. And it's not 1 bedroom, 1 bath. This is 3 beds, 3 baths for $999. So what is going on with the house versus apartment, condominium, flat, unit, as all of their prices seem so much more inflated for what you're actually getting? I mean, sure, okay, gas stove. I mean, that's just things that I'm imagining that some real estate agent would be writing in the entire description, of which, to be fair, I haven't actually looked at. So a trendy 3 bedroom, 3 washroom. Not 3 bathroom, 3 washroom. What? I mean, I can understand and I can glean the information, but washroom, again, I don't think I've ever heard that word at all, let alone it be used like this. Either way, 2-story home on a 20 by 118 foot lot. So it's pretty skinny, to be fair. It's only just under 7 meters. Previous basement apartment in need of updating. Basement apartment. What? Some updates to washrooms and kitchens. Demand local near schools. Yeah, sure. Transit and parkets. Da-da-da-da-da. Sure. There's so many words in there that are weird. Like, what is a basement apartment? And why is it separate from an apartment? I mean, is there saying that there's people living on top of you? Like it's a 2-story duplex, as though there'd be someone living up the top and then you have the bottom? Or somehow if you're underground. I mean, this is also interesting to see because every other Canadian place from the previous videos that I've seen has always had like a 3 or 4 steps up, whereas none of the houses that we've seen so far have had that. And I've always imagined that that is because of snow and just trying to raise it up. People also said it's so you do less digging for the basement to have access, emergency egress, and through the windows for the basement and all those kind of things. So I can only presume that these don't have basements, but then they literally said basement apartment. And also the fact that they don't have basements seems weird, as everyone said that every single place in Canada and North America has a basement. So where's the line there? But now let's travel a little bit more to the west and see what can you get for, once again, $999. This is a house. Price changed on the 6th of January. Okay. Ooh, we've got our first little 4 steps up. That's what I'm talking about for number 1200. Again, you would never see a number that high in Australia ever unless you're on the Princess Highway, but even then I swear they just split it up. But let's just see, do you get a basement and what do you get for $999? Where was it? It was in Mississauga. Ooh, that's a hell of a word. Either way, over in here at 1200, you do get a fairly modern looking place, don't you? I mean, it looks like floating floors to some degree, vinyl floors perhaps. Is that a popcorn ceiling? I'm wondering how old this place truly is and if it's just been rendered. I mean, it was a red brick outside, so I don't imagine it's... I mean, the North American building standards are so random. No one would build a color of brick. No one will build in a color of brick like that in Australia anymore. If you saw a color like that, you go, that's from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, maybe. Nothing in modern times. It would be a much darker brick or a blonde brick or basically fully rendered. But again, you do then look inside and it looks very modernized. I mean, maybe the description can enlighten me a little bit, but okay, that's looking more along the lines of when I would expect it to be built. Underfloor ducted makes sense, so some kind of basement. Decent enough kitchen, I guess you'd say. The wood though, it's certainly interesting that they love the wood from all of these houses. None of them are, I don't know what you would call it besides Polytech. That's the one, that's the most common one. I think it's actually maybe an Australian company, but everyone loves the wood trim, not painted. You know, if that was a $9 or $1 million place in Sydney or Australia, you would most likely bet that the doors would at least be painted. But honestly, so far, I would absolutely be taking this place with its, what is it, 3 beds, 2 baths for unknown square footage, but for $1 million coming west of Toronto CBD to the rest of CN Tower compared to going north to a condo or anything like that for $1 million? Surely. Absolutely. I mean, I understand that it doesn't have a gym attached to it, but for my money, I know what I would be taking. I mean, look at it. It's quite modern. I don't know if there's obviously structural things, and of course, if someone just wants the condo and the views, that's an entirely different story, but it just feels like you're getting so much more. Whoa, so many more monitors, if nothing else, for your money. That's a pretty serious battle station that person has there. But again, it's all very clean. It's all very well kept. It doesn't look like there's anything to really do to it. It's very livable. There's nothing. Wow, geez, this person, that's a decent fridge in your bedroom. Or maybe that's the basement. That's probably the basement. Either way, these people have gone out and renovated it clearly recently, and it's worked. And for $1 million, this makes more sense to be having a 3-bed, 2-bath, fully-ish renovated place in not that far from the middle of the CBD. It does make sense. Where the $1 million for the condo, I don't know who's going to be buying that. I would love to know if you guys can tell me why these pricing structures are like they are. I mean, this one even has a basement. And yes, of course, I have no knowledge about what locations are sought after and why some place might be more expensive or cheaper just based on what's surrounding it, infrastructure, just general vibe, and where people really want to be living, whether it's near an airport, not near an airport, near a port, away from the CN Tower. I mean, this person obviously loves the CN Tower. They've got a model of some sort on their little bedstand there, but why does it seem to vary so much? Like this in Sydney would feel like an absolute steal being so close, with a condo for a 1-bed or 2-bed, that would be pretty darn expensive being those kind of distances. Presenting 1200 Kings Home Drive, a well-maintained home in a friendly family or family-friendly neighborhood in the heart of Applewood Heights, perfect for first-time home buyers, invested, or a big family. Of course, you got to hit every single demographic you possibly can. This 2-story semi-detached property has 3 large-sized bedrooms that were clearly clean enough. The basement is renovated, having a great layout with a 3-piece washroom. Washroom again. Why are they washrooms and not bathrooms? I mean, I don't even know. I mean, I could understand. I don't know what I'd expect them to be called. I just assumed everyone called them bathrooms. Either way, and a kitchen and a separate entrance, good income potential. So again, that's like driving the price up. This property has a big backyard with a large enclosed composite deck, excellent location near all amenities, walk to schools, Applewood Trail Park, Costco, Walmart, public transport, and GO station. But like, that's what I mean. It seemingly has it all. And so for $1 million, yeah, it's $1 million. but I reckon I'm taking this $1,000,000 over some of the other ones we've seen. And I guess I should now see what is basically the cheapest you can get. If I just go no, I don't want to go any price, but I want to get rid of the minimum price. And what can you get? What can you get for, I don't know, if I put 400,000, does anything come up? Okay, there's a couple. What are you? You are up, you're 1 bed, 1 bath, not that far from anything. To be fair, it is very close to this massive interchange. Holy moly, that's a hell of an interchange and this big train line system in there. But I've seen worse places, and for 350,000, what do we get? To round off the entire thing, it's seemingly quite livable. I mean, is it ducted or is that hydronic? Maybe. I do see those kind of radiators and I'm never too sure. And I think I've seen them more in a UK sense. But look, I mean, yeah, it's not brand new, but that's very fine. Like, you get some bleached onto anything that you want to kind of clean up, and I'm sure it would come up just fine. You have a balcony, you have as much view as the $1,000,000 place had, or what, the 850, whatever it was. You got a foyer. I don't know if it has a gym, but you clearly have what you need in the form of 1 bed, 1 bath, but for only 350,000. You would struggle to find a $350,000 place anywhere in the central city of Sydney, anywhere. Even in central city of any of the any of the Australian cities, that would be fairly reasonably priced. And so again, please let me know if there's a reason why these are fluctuating so much. But honestly, as much as people, and I've here, and you can look at the graphs and everything, and you see that pricing and everything has gone up around the world, Toronto, for a starter, just doesn't seem to be as bad as I expected it to be. It's random, it's all over the place, but there does seem to be options, where in Sydney and Melbourne and some other cities, I'm sure, there's just nothing.